Hello! Hey everyone, David Snowpick here from Snowpick Games. Sorry for the weird start. Last week I was complaining that I was all flustered because I hadn't been streaming in like 3 weeks. But I just did this last week. Why am I still so flustered? Just like barely trying to get ready to go here. Well, anyway, I can see there are 4 eyeballs on my eyeball counter. Please say who you are so I know who is there. Otherwise, I just got an eyeball with a 4 next to it. How is everyone doing? How are your game projects going? I know I was talking a lot last week about how I have all these New Year's resolutions, and I've been sticking with them. We're 13 days into the year. I've been rocking my resolutions, including my game dev related resolutions, of which this game is a part. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about that some in a minute. It feels lonely. No one's saying anything. I don't know. Are you really out there? I guess I'll talk for a little while as people join in. Hey, Ricardo! Ricardo is one of the eyeballs, and now he is also one of the characters on the screen, rocking a sweet braid. So last week I was talking... Oh, hey, Malcolm! Morning! Welcome to the stream! Yeah, I hope that you are bringing 2 eyeballs, although if all you've got is 1, that is also perfectly acceptable. Yeah, so last stream I was talking about how I had ordered a 4070 Ti to replace my 1070. It unfortunately turns out that my gaming PC, the power supply in it will not accommodate my 4070 Ti, so I haven't had a chance to try it, but it is here. I have it sitting in this gigantic box. The graphics card is huge too, but like no, not as huge as the box. Oh, it looks like Malcolm's character's gotten stuck on the top. Let me knock him back down there. So I ended up deciding to do was I'm just gonna get a whole new PC. I haven't gotten a new primary computer since like 2017. So it's about time. It's about time to get a new one. And so then that's now another 2 weeks away till that thing's coming. So then I will finally be able to report to you all how the 4070 Ti does. Particularly, I'm looking forward to stress it out a bit on Cyberpunk 2077 in VR. I'm really excited to be able to see some of those environments immersively. Anyway, Ricardo, Malcolm, anyone else who's hanging out, how are you guys doing? How are your projects going? My projects are going okay. As I mentioned earlier, one of my New Year's resolutions is to create a game prototype per month, where I'm defining a prototype as a, not game, but we'll say an app, I don't know, that tests out a single idea. So I start with some sort of question I'm trying to get an answer to, and I create a targeted application to try and answer that one question by people actually playing it and seeing what happens, and then iterating to try and address any of those issues. If anyone else is interested in doing the 1 prototype per month challenge, we'll call it, I guess we're on YouTube, and YouTube is full of challenges. We're hanging out on my Discord. The link should be down there somewhere, sharing our prototypes and how they're going. Malcolm is driving to work. This is dangerous, watching a stream and driving, my friend. Be careful out there. Yeah, so the project that we will be hacking on this time is my 1 prototype per month prototype for this month, where I wanted to test what it's like to have a shooty weapon attached to the top of your hands in VR to see how that feels to aim and shoot. Last week, what did we actually do on stream? Were we working just on the enemy, making the enemy more engaging? Anyway, I did a little bit more work since then and got the prototype online, WebXR, so some folks could test it out, and maybe like a half dozen people, like 6 people, tried it and gave me their feedback. So I guess probably let me just show you that first, and then I'll talk about the feedback that I've gotten, and then we're going to attempt to address that feedback on this stream. So that's the plan. That is the whole plan. Let me get my headset on real quick. All right, just give me a minute. I know, like, I should the number of things I have to do to get ready for the stream is already enormous, but I probably should, like, you know, pre-set up the headset and all of these things. So I'm sorry for the little bit of boringness here as I get going, but once we have it set up, we shouldn't have to mess around with it too much. I'm actually going to load up the WebXR version rather than trying to deploy the rather than trying to deploy it to my headset and play the OpenXR version, just because I can do that faster. We will, of course, set up everything to deploy directly to the headset once we get hacking. One moment, please. I don't recall how to get to the sharing before I go into an app. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Cast to my computer. And let's see, is this appearing? Hey, there we go. There's my Oculus home environment. Or I guess Meta home environment? What are we calling these things anymore? Or this is Horizon. This is Horizon Home. Too many new words. All right. Here we go. Hit my Enter VR button. All right. So we have a little bit of smooth motion in here. I put it in kind of as a, like, accident of the order with which I was creating things in the prototype. It was not really my intention to be able to move around, but it turns out it's actually kind of engaging moving around because the enemies sort of vaguely follow you. Anyway, here's my hands. I've got these little tank-looking things on the top, and I can shoot lasers out of them, but we have frozen. Why have we frozen? Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. Is that the crash? The clean was getting some crashes. I have not seen a crash, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is the crash. All right, well, let's quit or refresh and try it again. The clean sent me, oh, and I should have done it right now on stream. I should have captured the console logs to see what it was. But the clean had gotten a couple of crashes and sent me some logs, which, if we get through the gameplay stuff, the gameplay changes for the prototype, maybe we'll take a look at it. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Oh my god. Why is this loading so slow? Maybe we will deploy to the headset. We'll try one more thing. We'll try reloading from scratch here. Okay. I'll try shooting right away, see if it works. There's also this hitch that happens the first time you shoot, which is kind of expected in OpenGL, at least until the shader caching stuff gets added to Godot 4, which already exists in Godot 3. But the first time I shoot, there's a hitch because the shaders for the laser and the explosion have not been compiled yet. So anyway, I got these you know, tank-looking laser things on the top of my hands. I can shoot, and these enemies take 3 hits till they die. There's a tiny bit of physics in there getting knocked around here. If I can hit them from the top, I can knock them on the ground and it'll roll a little bit. I don't know why I like the rolling, but I like the rolling. So that's what I've got. That is the prototype so far. Let me get the headset off so I can see chat, and I can tell you a little bit about what the feedback was. Malcolm says, I've seen the same freeze. You can leave and re-enter VR. All right. I mean, that essentially ended up working for me eventually. The tank saga continues. Can we escape tanks? When will I be able to stop doing tanks? I actually was thinking, too, something that would be interesting to also test as part of this prototype would be a bunch of different shaped weapons. Because presumably if there was a game that used this, there'd be all sorts of weapons that you could pick up in the world. And it would be interesting to see how shooting feels with different, if you're shooting from different positions. I was kind of thinking like an egg-shaped, like an elongated egg-shaped weapon could be interesting to see if that feels worse to shoot from, because there isn't like, you can't clearly see with your eye like where the shot would be coming out. I didn't end up, are we crashed? We crashed. Or is that just because the headset went to sleep? No, we've really crashed. Wow. Okay. Well, we have a crash to investigate. It's so crazy that I did not see this at all in my testing personally, but now I'm seeing it 2 times on the stream. I guess that's the magic of the stream. Every bug will surface one way or another. Anyway, I was saying that I had this other idea if aiming turned out to be bad, that right now the ray that decides where you shoot is coming out of the top of the gun. You can actually see it, or the blaster, as I'm calling it. So we have the blaster's barrel there, and the ray comes right out of it. I had this thought that if that felt bad, if you couldn't aim good, to instead have the ray come out of the tip of your hand, so that visually you'd see the ray come out of the gun, but you'd really only be pointing your hand straight out at the thing that you're shooting, and that maybe that would feel better for aiming. But I didn't end up trying that. I think that's still something to keep, in the pouch of ideas for if different shaped weapons end up being trickier to actually aim. I also don't know if that could maybe be worse too, because I know in VR, sometimes you'll have games where the gun sights actually work, and in other games you'll have it where they don't, where you have to, I guess, kind of shoot and see where it landed and then figure out where you're going to aim next. And it's very frustrating when the gun sights don't actually work, and this would be making it so that, it didn't physically actually work, and maybe in VR that would be worse than the kind of trickery that you might pull with where to put the ray in a flat screen game. Hey Slacks, welcome to the stream. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, I was talking about feedback from people testing the prototype. So a bunch of people on Discord tested it, a bunch of people on Mastodon. I got my Pa to test it. My Pa is, of course, in his 70s, so he has interesting perspectives on things, being a little bit less super technical and just, I don't know, coming at things from a little bit different perspective. Anyway, so I was surprised in testing it personally that it did feel so fine to shoot from my wrists, and having like the running around the board with the smooth motion, it was actually relatively engaging. And I did get some feedback from people that like, yeah, this is totally fine. Shooting from my wrist is actually kind of awesome. But then I also got some feedback that people got tired holding their arms out like this. My Pa in particular said he couldn't do that for very long, and that what he ended up doing was just holding his hand sideways as if it was a gun, like lower, so that it wasn't stressful for his arms, and that he figured out a way to aim in that way. And some other people, was it The Clean who said that holding it sideways made it harder to aim to the left or right, whereas if you were holding it upright, it was easier to aim to the left or right without having to move your whole arm. Hey, Chesh! Yeah, so the conclusion is, for some people, it's totally cool shooting from the wrist. In fact, it's a little bit interesting because it's different, and for some people, it's actually like physically difficult to do. So the solution that I want to try, and this might turn out to be a terrible idea, but the solution that I want to try is that the weapon actually hovers slightly above your hand, and that if you turn it this way, it'll be above your hand like a gun, and if you turn your hand this way, it'll be above your hand the way that it is currently, and then ideally also sort of restrict that motion so that you can't end up with it like on the bottom, or I don't know, if you twisted your arm like this, it should still. I have no idea actually where it should be in that case, but that is one thing I want to experiment with. I'm worried that it will be too fluid, too unpredictable. But we'll see. Theoretically, it should be fine. But I don't really know. So because the controller actually gives us a ray coming out of it like this. Like that's the information we have from the like underlying XR subsystem, whether that's WebXR or OpenXR. So when you're rotating it this way, it's actually moving. But the gun, like the weapon, where its barrel would be, would stay in the same spot if we got this right. So I don't know. That's what I want to try. There's other options if that doesn't work. We could maybe have just like a configuration setting or something where, you know, they mount here, they mount here. Or, you know, the main reason that I wanted to do the weapon being on the top of your hand thing was because of this idea I had to do with managing your inventory in VR. But maybe you simply mount the weapon on the back of your hand and then it shifts over to the top of your hand. I don't know. And the reason we're prototyping is because I don't know. The prototype is to hopefully answer these questions for us. So yeah, sound like a plan, guys? Ready to dive in? Let's see what we can do here. So this is going to fundamentally change the way that the blaster works. So I'm thinking what we need to do in our blaster scene is make 0, 0 be the point of rotation and actually move the blaster up to you know, stand sort of off that point that we're going to rotate around. So yeah, I guess we will move the mesh base and the raycast up a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how much up. We may need to see this relative to the hand to figure it out. Let's get one of our hands over here and play with it in the editor to kind of establish what the distance needs to be. Okay, so presently we have the blaster right on top of the hand there. Maybe actually even we could use, maybe even use the height that it is at now. Although I think it needs to be a little bit higher for the for this guy to rotate under it, because your hand is, you know, longer up and down. Let's see what we can do. I want to make this temporarily be top level so that I can rotate, or no, I don't even need to do that. Never mind. I can rotate the hand model without rotating the parent here. So if I rotate this around, ooh, and of course it shifts down too. Let's bring it back up. Well, that tells me nothing because it shifted down. Can I not undo anymore? Let's undo a whole bunch. Okay. Right. Nope. Okay, we're back up here. And I think I'm just going to raise the blaster up a tiny bit from the hand. So it's kind of hovering above. And then we're going to use the Y here. I like round numbers. Or is that the Y? Since everything's rotated, directions are getting weird. What one is this? Nope, it's not the Y. 0.5. Oops, negative 0.5. Is it? What am I doing wrong? 0.05. There we go. Is it the Z? No. So it must be the X. Okay. We'll take this 0.6. That seems decent. Okay, we'll take the 0.6 and we'll make that be how much we put the blaster and casting rate up. Or no, hang on. That's going to mess everything up. What I need to do is add 0.6. So this one's already at 0.2, so I'll add 0.06. Nope, not the size. I'm on the wrong thing. I'm sure it's a lot of fun seeing someone bumble around in the editor, but we'll get there. 0.06. All right, and the ray we need to also move up from its previous location, 0.06. Okay. I saw some stuff appearing in chat. Ricardo, title idea, Arms Workout VR. I like it. Yeah, holding your arms out, you get a certain kind of, which muscle is that exercising exactly? Maybe the ones on the top of your arm, pulling your arms up. All right, so then back here on the actual controllers, we would want to change their transform from whatever it was before to, hang on, I have to do this from the perspective of the hand back to its original rotation here. And position. Okay. So it's too far away from the hand. We need to move it a little bit closer. So in both cases, I guess that's the X. And in fact, I think we want it to be on 0. Yeah, that seems right. So we'll change the X position on both the blasters to 0. So it's going to hover away from the hand about that much. And then we need to add the code to rotate it to be up. And I do want to have some limits to how far it rotates. But for now, let's just get it in there rotating, and we can add the limit second. So in physics process, we're already doing this junk with the aiming dot. Let's do the rotation first. Ooh, we're like rotated one too many, or indented one too many. So how are we going to do this? We want to make sure that our global y, okay, we want to make sure that the y-axis on our global transform is always pointed straight up. What is the easiest way to do that? We want to allow the the y-axis to rotate freely. Man, 3D is such a pain, because if this was 2D, I would just think of this as locking one of the axes. Like every frame, I would simply set whatever that axis is to 0, the rotation on that axis. But in 3D, we have to think of this as pinning an axis in a particular spot. Let's draw a picture. Drawing a picture always helps. Oops. Picture from last week. I meant to make it be white in the background. Okay, so we have got, why am I not drawing? Why is my pen not working? Pen? Sometimes I have to reset. I have this little script here. Try monitor with tablet stream. Hopefully this won't crash everything. If this crashes everything, I apologize. I will get the stream going again in a moment, but let's give this a shot here. Oops. There we go. Okay. You guys still with me? Looks like it. Okay, so we've got, our 3 axes, and we want to fix this axis in one spot. No, we don't want to fix it in only one spot. Okay, so what happens if we rotate our hand forward? It should still point down. So we're actually not restricting the rotation of that axis because it can still point downward. What exactly are we trying to do here? We're trying to prevent it rotating around the local z-axis. So it's actually the z-axis, not the y-axis, that we want to fix. We want to fix the z-axis. Right? Does that make sense? Or no, because we still, if we go up and down, we still want to allow the z-axis to tilt that way. Okay, so we're trying to fix rotation around the local z-axis. Jeez. Okay, what's the math for that? Do you have any apps or games on Play Store or App Store? Unfortunately, I do not have anything on the Play Store. I have like 3-ish mobile games. One of them I spent quite a bit of time trying to get onto the Play Store on the Android store, but I just kept hitting like weird review gates, and I got frustrated and stopped. But I have one game on Steam, which if you have, you know, a PC you can game on, I can send you the link for that. I really do want to get my little tiny mobile games onto the Play Store, just so it's easy to show people, like in this situation. But unfortunately, I don't at the moment. Okay, let's think this through. So from a local perspective, it's going to seem like we're not rotating at all because it's actually the parent that's rotating. So do we just need to rotate around the z-axis the inverse of the parent's rotation? Maybe. Let's try it. So parent equals get parent. If parent, we want our rotation. Can we just, is there a property for a rotation in 3D? I always forget how these things work. So we have one here, but that's actually, okay, rotation. Let's give it a shot. Let's say our rotation around the z-axis equals negative rotation of the parent around its z-axis. That might work. Or not. Let me get the headset connected so we can deploy a new build. Probably the people who are better at math out there are laughing at me for my poor implementation decision, but that's what I'm here to entertain. Let's see. My little Android guys appeared there. Oh, I was doing last night I was testing a PR for OpenXR, so I have to clear out my build directory here. So let's clear out build. There's also this hidden file, .build version. I'm actually on beta 11 now, so I guess we can't really use this old beta 10 directory that I backed up. Let's hit, where's the button? Where's the button? Install Android build template. All right, install. And hit the little Android guy, which is going to freeze because of this Godot 4 bug. But we know how to solve that now. What is with those messages? Well, seems to be working in any case. Yeah, I haven't actually used Beta 11 yet. I downloaded it yesterday, I think. But this is my first time actually running it. I've been doing Beta 10 and running from the master branch, compiling the master branch for when I'm contributing to Godot. All right, it looks like... Oh, hang on a second. It looks like it may have deployed here. Let me get the headset view up so you guys can see. All right, and I have no hands. My hands have vanished. That's actually probably related to the experimenting I was doing yesterday. Hang on. It does appear, though, as if the code we wrote worked. I rotate my hands and they stay fixed. They seem to slide a little bit. I'm not sure what the sliding is about. We'll have to... Let me get the hands working again. Let me get the hands working again. And then we can... Oh, man. Okay, hang on. Why did I have to use this project as a test project last night? So git diff. Let's just look at what I changed. Oh, and verbose and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, yeah, on my dedicated server PR. I don't know why that's in here. Let's revert the export preset changes. Let's look in the project. Yep, I switched the renderer to OpenGL because I was testing an OpenGL PR. And I think we're going to have to reload the project. Let's see what the other changes are. Hopefully they're just the things we were doing for this. Yep, and I'm going to add those. I'm going to do git add on them right away so that I don't accidentally wipe them out later. Flying Tanks 3D! Okay, and then we are going to, reload whatever, but I know you won't really do it. Let's quit this. Look at our git status scan. Okay, and then we're going to restart the Godot editor. Okay, sorry about that. That is the risk of being a Godot contributor and constantly messing around with things and working with unfinished PRs and your own compiled versions of Godot and all of that. Okay. I am hopeful that the hands will return. Let's give it a try. Wait, what? Androidville version, Godot version beta. What? Did I just accidentally start the wrong version of Godot? I did. Gah. Okay. Well, good thing I added those things to Git, although it turns out it didn't matter. Let's do Godot beta 11 editor. Let's go. All right. Take two. Yeah, the hands disappearing thing is actually a pretty weird bug because I think it's something to do with like the OpenGL renderer not liking something about those materials or like the texture format that's being used. But funnily enough, it actually works with OpenGL on WebXR, which is just surprising. Okay, well that didn't work. Let's try deploying one more time. Sometimes that happens. The app I'm building fails to actually launch. Here we go. Here we go. And we're in. And I have hands! Okay, so let's take a look at this. Yeah, we definitely don't want it to rotate all the way off of the hand. We want to limit the rotation in some fashion. And when I put it here, is this the right spot for gunnishness? I don't know. This actually, this seems to work. This feels like I'm now holding a gun. I mean, I'll have to see, you know, how this feels to other people. But this is kind of okay. I think we got to get the rotation locking right. Ooh, I'm not hitting anything. Here we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. Okay, so what rotation would this be? We are inverting the parent's rotation. So this is the parent's rotated 0. This is 0. And then when the parent, ooh, I'm getting a crash. I'm getting a crash. All right, since everything's connected now, let's actually take a look at what this crash is. I've been putting it off, but let's do it. It's possible it's coming into the Godot editor, but sometimes that doesn't work. So I'm just going to really quick go over here to ADB and see what we're getting before it gets too far along. All right, and then we're going to go take a look in here to see if we got any info in the Godot editor. Some stuff about materials. This really isn't giving me a lot. Any clues in here? Null cursor receive for query content. Okay, thread expire. Huh. Let's get logcat and see if there's anything that doesn't specifically say Godot, but it is just at the bottom here. And we're still crashed? We are. Huh. No good clues. No good clues this time. We might have to like leave logcat running, and then as soon as it crashes, come in here and control C it, and see what we see in the terminal right at the time that it crashes. That might be the only way we're going to get enough information. I've been having all these frustrating problems with doing Android and Godot 4 with like debug messages not making it over, or the debugger just like refusing to stop on errors and just like silently, fatally crash. And then going and doing ADB logcat being the only way to get decent information. One of the many growing pains that will hopefully be fixed in Godot 4 soon enough. All right, so the next thing up is we were going to look at limiting the rotation. So hands like this is 0 rotation on the parent, and hands like this would be 90 degrees of rotation on the parent. Of course, the rotation is different for left and right hand. That's going to be interesting to capture. So we don't want to go further than negative or positive 90 degrees or quarter of pi, since we're going to be doing this in radians. Or is that half of pi? That's half of pi, not a quarter of pi. Because 2 pi's is a circle, 1 pi is a half, so a half of a pi. Do you program in the C# language? I do occasionally program in C#, including with Godot. But in this case, I am not. This is all GDScript. C# is great, at least for me, in my experience, when you either need to write something that it needs to be more performant, needs to run faster than GDScript can run, or you need to rely on a third-party library, because there's just loads of really great third-party libraries for C# and not quite as many in GDScript. But this is a prototype. We are building a quick prototype to try and test some game design ideas, and so all GDScript today. But on my streams, we generally do GDScript, C++, and only very, very rarely do we do C# on stream. Actually, have we even done C# on stream? We might not have. But certainly I have videos that include C# code. Maybe not streams. All right, so here we are. And we're going to want to clamp our rotation. I guess let's just naively do this for one hand first, and then we'll figure out how to do the two hands. So we're clamping this value between 0 and half of pi. Let's give that a shot. Oh, I forgot to welcome Morton Rao and Jianju69. Welcome to the stream. Do you need shader coding? I mean, there would be some really cool things we could do in this game with shaders. I would love, and I was talking to Logan last week, like, what kind of shader would I need to make the lasers look like they are traveling as opposed to just appearing and then disappearing? But again, as a prototype, we probably won't do any shader stuff here unless... yeah, I mean, this prototype is all about the hands and the shooting. I could imagine next month doing a prototype where we're actually prototyping a shader, trying to answer some questions about a shader, but that's not what we're doing this time. All right, let's see if that code worked. Oh, I'm still crashed. That's weird. Do I have to exit out of this for it to deploy correctly? Let's give that a shot. I'm gonna try killing this and then redeploying and see if that solves our problem here. Oh, and I'm actually going to close this too. I don't want this WebXR thing running in the background mucking up the works. Hit my little Android guy and deploy. Johnju, are you asking that because you're like good with shaders and want to do some shader stuff, or are you asking because you want to learn more about Godot shaders? All right, so, yep, that's not what we want for the left hand, but the right hand, this seems perfect. I mean, it looks weird, but it feels like it's in the right spot. It might actually be interesting to slide this a little bit to the left as it comes to the right, because while... No, this is perfect. This is exactly where it needs to be. Like, if I look through the nose hole and compare my hand position in VR, this tank laser blaster guy is right above where the controller is. Like, that's right on top of the controller. That is... Oh, we crashed again! I can't believe it. Wow. I wonder if it's related to us using beta 11? Because we were using beta 10 for everything last time, or I don't know, didn't manage to trigger this crash previously. But yeah, I think that's perfectly positioned as far as like relation to the controller. Hey Unfa, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I know Unfa. I've been seeing your comments and rendering lately about you know, just the level of bugs in Godot 4. And I share your feelings completely. I am so worried about what's going to happen when Godot 4 releases stable, and then everyone's going to come running. Like, it's the big news, Godot 4 is finally here, and tons of people are going to download it, and they're going to try it, and they're going to be like, this is a buggy mess. And I mean... It's great, like there's so many great things in Godot 4. I'm so worried about what's going to happen when we finally release. I mean, in the long term, it's going to be fine. But in the short term, I'm just so worried about what that's going to mean. But yeah, we shall see. For better or worse, I mean, Godot 4 is probably going to release in like 4 to 6 weeks. And yeah, then we're going to have a lot of fun getting 4.0.1 full of bug fixes out, and of course 4.1 and onward. But I mean, Godot 3 was kind of the same way, right? Godot 3 came out as like a big buggy mess, but I don't know. There's a lot more people looking. There's a lot more attention on the project with Godot 4 than there was for Godot 3. Okay, so what was I doing? I was going to try to so okay, for the left hand, this needs to be pi divided by 2, and for the right hand, this needs to be pi divided by 3. How are we going to expose that? I guess we could have a property, an exported property that would hold this value, like rotation max. But I think we want something more automatic than that. I don't want to have to like set this on every single situation that's might come up. I think the easier thing to do would be to look at the parent and see what its tracker value is set to, and do something like pi divided by 2. We'll put that in parens so it's easier to understand what's happening. If parent tracker, yeah, okay, tracker equals, is this in a num? What is this? Let's get to this. Oh no, that's okay. That's an actual native class. Let's go look at it. XR controller. We have get tracker hand. Oh, maybe this is actually the way to go. Get tracker hand. And then we have this in num, which has tracker hand left, tracker hand right. Okay, so parent get tracker hand equals, and what was that a num on? That a num is on XR positional tracker. XR positional tracker. Tracker hand left. Tracker hand left. Else negative pi divided by 2. I think that's right. We will see. Hit my little Android guy and see what's going on in chat. Hey Artyom, welcome to the stream. Man, I have C++ server outside of Godot, and Godot clients can connect to the server. I want to send a location of a player from one client to the server so the other clients can see changes in games. In game, do you know some good tutorials about it? Thank you in advance. So your server is not Godot, is what you're saying. It's a custom thing written in C++. I mean, in that case, you're making up your whole like network transport protocol, right? So I'd imagine on the clients you're connecting probably UDP, right? And you're sending some packets in a format that you make up. I mean, just stick the values you want in there. Send them, and then have the server echo them back to all of the players. I don't know that there is a tutorial, at least not that I'm personally like aware of. There might be a tutorial that does exactly that, but I'm not aware of it. Most tutorials will have Godot being the server component, and there's lots of those. If you want to keep doing yours in C++, you're a little bit on your own, unfortunately. But it shouldn't be that hard, right? You know, in Godot, it's easy to get the properties that you want and then serialize them to some binary format. What is the class I usually use for that? Packet peer stream, I think. Is this the one, or is this the parent of the one that I'm thinking of? Stream peer buffer. Okay, this one I think is the one. Using this class, you can take whatever data you want and then write it as binary data. Then you can grab the data, that's the data array. This just gives you an array of bytes. And then you can send that over your UDP packet. The classes for doing UDP in, or actually, yeah, because you have packet peer UDP, you could write it directly to the, to here too, I think. Yeah, so another approach, because this descends from packet peer, or no, this doesn't give you all of those cool methods. Never mind, I take back what I said. All you get from the UDP peer is being able to do put packet and an array of bytes. So returning to the thing I was originally saying, you can use, what was it called? It was stream peer buffer. You can pack all of the data, like the global positions and rotations and whatever you want, into like a packed byte array, an array of bytes. And then over here in your packet peer UDP, you would put that packet, send it across. So I know that's not as useful as a tutorial, but hopefully that's enough information to get you started, I hope. All right, so we wrote this code. I sent it to my headset. Is it here? Is it here? No, it crashed. Let's try that again. And what we're hoping is that on the left and right hand, the rotational limits are correct. That is what we are hoping for. Okay, it looks like it has deployed. Let me get in there. It's possible that it's just crashing on me having done a typo and not giving us enough info. So I'm going to do what I've been doing when doing this on... Well, that's such a lie. So what I've been doing in this situation, because we have this issue with Android not reporting errors to us, is I have been running it locally, but it's claiming that my graphics card doesn't support Vulkan, which is just untrue. I don't know what's going on with that. We could try restarting Godot, or just triple checking our code here. So the what was it? It was XR controller get tracker hand, parent get tracker hand, then XR positional tracker, tracker hand left. Tracker hand left. Well, let's restart Godot. Slack saw a bug report about Vulkan support on the tracker. Interesting. I'll have to see if other folks are doing that. Artyom says, thank you. You're welcome. I will try to do this. I've subscribed to the channel, so if anything, I will keep up to date with how the work is progressing. I am working on the Bomberman project. Cool. That sounds awesome. Also, I have a Discord. You can see the link down there if you want to get in on that. We can talk in a more real-time fashion. Slack says beta 12 is up. Oh man, I knew Remy was going to do it today, but it's coming up on stream. Should we try it? Should we switch mid-stream? Beta 12. Ooh, some nice mushrooms. I like this picture. What game is this from? Gower Gura? Quest for Bread. Sounds like a meme game. Quest for Bread. Yeah, let's try it. Let's grab it. Let's do this. Jump to the download section. Standard build. We are downloading. Ooh, we'll have to download the export templates, which might take a little bit longer, but let's get started on that right away. We're going to unzip our Godot v4 beta 12, and we are going to switch to it. Let's kill our project here, and over here we're going to launch beta 12. Start downloading the export templates right away. What? Beta 12. I just extracted it, didn't I? Or did I just list it? I just listed it. Okay. We'll actually extract it this time. And we will launch beta 12. The clean. Check out the logs for me. I think it's a rendering problem, not game itself. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at the logs. I have them right here, though. I downloaded them. What are they called, though? I don't want to list my whole downloads directory on stream. Not because I think there's anything scandalous in there, but there could be things from clients in there. In the world of NDAs, I do not want to accidentally break an NDA on stream. I am looking through Discord. Here we go. It was static. Static. Okay. Context blocking the main thread is dangerous. External resource material. Let's go to the bottom. Output buffer has not enough frames. Skipping frame. Ooh, this is a big, long WebXR thing here. Okay, here we go. User condition is a giant tree, returning unprint error. Get global transform. Okay, yeah, so whatever is doing get global transform is not in the tree, and so it does not have a global transform. What is the error right before that? Texture array errors are supported questionably. Okay, so that's a harmless error. It's hard to tell what error is causing the problem. So this series of errors with these big WebXR backtraces are just trying to get the global position on something that isn't in the tree. Output buffer has not enough frames. So this could be a symptom of what the underlying error is. If we've stopped providing the browser with more frames, we can end up in this situation. So then I would usually look at the error right before we don't have enough frames, and it's just this not in tree thing. The clean, was there like a particular thing in here that you thought was noteworthy? It may just be because I have streaming brain and I get, you know, about 50% stupider when a camera is pointing at me. But I'm not seeing like a clear smoking gun. This is a little interesting. Actually, no, invalid UUID. This is just a. I see this error all the time in current betas. This image format 34 is not supported is also a thing I see, and it doesn't seem to break things. This texture array supported questionably is just a warning that our polyfill gives us, even though like it has always worked fine in my experience. Yeah, I am not sure where to follow on that. Anyway. I saw someone prematurely announce a project of theirs on their stream more than once. Yeah, it's fine if I accidentally expose something of mine, unless it's like, I don't know, financial in nature. I don't want to expose things from my clients because that could reflect on me poorly professionally, and I want my clients to be able to trust me that I can look after their confidential data. In any case, I'm not sure what to do about the crash at this point. Whoa. Whoa, what's with this new dialogue? Is that a bug or is that how that's supposed to look? Interesting. The save dialogue looks weird. Oh, and now we're on beta 12. All right, let's do the switcher. Oh, and I never downloaded the export templates. Gah. Okay, manage export templates, download and install. Beta 12, this will take, ooh, actually we're getting really great internet speeds right now. This will only take a few seconds. And while that's going, I will preemptively go clear out our Android build directory and the hidden file. And when this is done, we can pull in the Android dealies. What is the what's the term that's used in the UI? Oh, come on, I want to close you, but you are not done. Okay, now you're done. It is install Android build template. So not an export template, but a build template. Yeah, and this like window looks totally different. Okay. Now, we're sending the latest to the headset. Installing to device, please wait. Let's see if it's actually there. Oh, hey, here we are. Okay, let me get my hands. All right. So, left hand seems to be working. Right hand seems not to be. Oh, I wonder if we have to swap min and max. Because we're using clamp, but we're always changing max. And if it's a negative value, that sounds like a min. Let's hop over to our code and rearrange how this works. So we are going to say, if parent game tracker hand is left, and then we'll just make this be a normal if. Then we're going to do the usual here. And then else, oop, need to indent this one more. Else we do this, but we go from negative pi divided by 2 through 0. So we have the min and max in the right place in our call to clamp here. Let's deploy that to the headset. Hey Inferno5544, welcome to the stream. Hey, I'm on the another device. It happened minutes into the game. For you, it crashes right away. I don't know why. Bots are catching up to the player, and the math gets wonky. Yeah, the way that the first of all, thank you for testing. That's awesome. I'm curious which device you're playing on, because I just have a whole bunch of quests. The Quest 1, 2, and Pro. I'd be curious how it works on other devices, but got some kind of error here. Failed to release swap chain. Let's try this again. I'm not sure if my headset's playing the old version or the new version. But yeah, the math for the bots sort of vaguely chasing the player is pretty janky in general, and it totally freaks out when it actually has caught up to the player. It should probably change what it's doing or just have smarter math in general. But I think it works Ah, geez. Didn't deploy successfully that time either. I think it works well enough for the prototype where we're worried about how it feels to shoot and not the gameplay. But yeah, having an engaging enemy to shoot at is, of course, very helpful. So maybe at a later point it would be good to work on that so we can get just some better data from players. But yeah, okay, our rotation locking is working. So it is a little weird that when you go this way, it will like invert. And we probably shouldn't do that. So we should add some code to prevent shooting from the bottom of your hand. Not that people put their hands in this position very often. But yeah, let's get a feel for how this works. We have the whole thing that I wanted to build on stream essentially operating. And we can I can get another build of this out and folks can say what they think about it. But let me see what I think about it first. Die, ominous spheres. I'm going to try shooting just this way like I was doing previously and just make sure that... Make sure that it feels the same as before. That our rotation hasn't made things wonky. And then I'm going to spend a little time shooting with my hand in the gun shape. Yeah, no, this feels the same. I think this feels the same. Let's try... Whoop. I'm hitting nothing. Switching to the gun orientation. No, I think I just had to get used to it. Yeah. Yeah, no, this feels fine. Let's ship it. Oh, the clean on a different device. Okay, that's what you meant by on another device. Okay, I thought you were saying you're testing it on like a different headset. So running the game, it crashes when I stopped for a while. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you so much for sending the log, but I'm just not seeing something in there that gives like a clear idea of what it could be exactly. We're of course dealing with two environments where Godot is presently not very reliable about giving us debug information, that being Android and the web. I guess it's a little bit more reliable on the web in my experience, although sometimes there too you just get no feedback on what's happening. We're also, the WebXR build that we've been testing is a release build. It might be worthwhile to mess around with in debug build to see if that gets us some more information. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, oh, what are these 84 errors? I wonder if this get global transforms just like the enemy AI in big air quotes, it's not really AI, but the enemy AI trying to do things after it has already exploded or something like that. The materials thing, not sure what that could be. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to commit these changes. I will, after the stream, put up a new WebXR build, and then and then we're gonna set up a debug build of WebXR and try it a bit and see if we can get some good logs. Because yeah, I think I've done what I wanted to do for the prototype. I think this prototype experiment, honestly, this prototype project, whatever you want to call it, has been going really great. In that, what? I shouldn't try to get while I'm talking, in the sense that I've been definitely doing the minimum amount of building and doing more iterating and designing and getting people to test things, which is really what I wanted to accomplish with doing the one prototype per month. As a programmer, I tend to spend so much time programming and building and making things, and not nearly enough time doing game design. So this has been great. All right, let's commit this. So we're going to say allow blasters to rotate into a gun holding position. All right, I will get this out to folks to test. We'll see if it helps with the arm strain and hopefully feels still good. And yeah, let's make that WebXR build. So this is also good in that normally every time a new beta or a new RC or whatever for either Godot 4 or Godot, oh, sorry for the yawn, before either for Godot 4 or Godot 3 comes out, I always have to go test, does WebXR still work? Because there have been a number of releases, maybe like 2, so like not a huge number, but like there have been releases where WebXR is just totally broken, usually due to mscripten being updated, which is just a regular thing that happens. Like Fabio or Remy will update mscripten, in Remy's case usually because he's just like kind of generally updating parts of the build process to make sure we're using, you know, up-to-date tools, and like folks will test that the web export still works, but maybe not the WebXR export. Hey Arvid, welcome to the stream. I can't quite see your emoji. What emotion are you expressing? Oh, the yawn. Oh, sorry. I've now made all of my eyeballs yawn along with me. So what was I doing? Did I do the export? Gosh, I get talking and I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so WebXR. I did an export, I hope. Export with debug. Save. Let's go over to a terminal. This is prototypes, VR, build server, no, build WebXR. Okay, sorry, I was used to testing my dedicated server PR that I've been working on all day yesterday. I worked on it, but I think it's in a really good place. If you guys are interested in hearing me talk about the dedicated server PR that I've been working on for Godot 4, I would be happy to dig into that a little bit. All right, so that should get the web server running. Slacks. It helps to test XR when you have some relevant hardware, I guess. Yeah. I mean, there's like the WebXR emulator, but you can't really test gameplay with that. Just test, does it crash or does it not? Do the things seem to work? Okay, let me get in there. So let's exit out of the OpenXR native Quest version of the game. Let's load up the browser. Come on. Yeah, here we go. Get the meta browser going. Come on, meta browser. Where are you? Oh, there we go. I bet it was open and I just closed it. I do stuff like that all the time. Okay, so we want to go to HTTP, this one. Live dangerously. Proceed. Oh, and we need to get a debug console connected. I can never remember what this is. Inspect devices. All right, so this is going to connect the browser on the headset to my browser here and show us everything that is coming in the debug console, which of course we're not seeing anything because it won't show us stuff that happened while we were not connected. But once I dive in here, okay. Well, it's not working. The enter VR button is non-operational. Let's start over here. I'm gonna go to the HTTP. Tab is inactive. Here we go. All right, so this is what I'm seeing. Here's the messages. These invalid UIDs are usually harmless. Well, this is interesting. Invalid and num? That's new. I don't recall ever seeing that error before. Probably worth looking into. Too many errors. No more errors will be reported to the console. It's never good when you get that, because then it's going to suppress some errors that we're going to get later, which sucks. We may actually have to solve this invalid and num text parameter thing in order to get the error messages that we're looking for. Do not have hands in the quest enviro, not fair. Interesting new look for some dialogues in beta 12. Yeah, I have this feeling that wasn't intentional. We'll have to see. That might be a mistake. It's like it's rendering those dialogues using the game theme rather than the editor theme, is what it feels like. I don't actually know if that's the case, but I'm willing to bet that that's a bug. All right, let's get in there. I'll show you guys this. Oh no, there it is. Okay, let's get in there. See what we see. So my rotation stuff is working here over in WebXR. We got the little hitch from the shader compilation. There'll be another one once I actually hit anything. There we go. That should be our last hitch. See how long I can play it before we get an issue. Although the clean, I remember you were saying that letting it sit for a while led to the crash. So we can also try that. I prefer the active approach, though. I like to play. I find it really hard to shoot from my left hand when I'm using it to locomote. Or maybe I just find it hard to shoot with my left hand at all. I was standing perfectly still there. All right, I'm going to switch to gun hand here. Die, spheres, die! Yeah, I mean, the gun aiming seems fine. I think we do need to do like I was talking about before and try with a different shaped blaster. Something larger would be interesting. This seems fine. Yeah, and for a production thing, we would need to fix, you know, this. But, and how would we do that, actually? We would say if rotation is greater than or equal to pi. All right, I guess here's what we'll do. I will let it run in the background, just let it be for a while. And then I guess we can check in here and see if there's some messages in our dev tools. Ooh, okay. This is interesting. So are we getting spammed this, or is it... I'm willing to bet this is when I kill an enemy. It's trying to get its global position, but it's not currently in the scene. I bet that's what it is. It's not spamming it. It's just happening occasionally. I maybe killed enough enemies to get this many messages. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that one's fine, but let's let this keep running, and we'll see if a crash comes up. In the meantime, let's make a bigger, more awkward shaped weapon and see how that works. Yeah, so Arvid, when I press save, you see the dialogue that pops up, saving scene. That looks like the game theme rather than the editor theme, and it shows up in exporting too, or at least it did once. Nope, it's not showing up this time. That's interesting. I know I got it to show up for a longer dialogue at some point, but yeah, it's like it's using the wrong theme. Anyway, let's experiment with different blaster designs here. And how should I do that? Should because everything's baked in to the blaster scene here. We have our laser animation, the raycast, all of this stuff. I think what we want is a base scene that we can then edit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this scene. We're going to call it like blaster base. And then in our blaster base scene, we are going to remove the actual meshes. And in fact, this raycast and aiming dot and laser beam and laser animation player should probably be its own sub scene. Rather than part of this one. But I guess as a prototype, this is fine. This is fine. And then maybe we reset the ray position to 0, 0 with the idea that it's going to be repositioned by the child scene. So then we will make a new inherited scene. This will replace our original blaster scene, which for now I'm going to copy and paste some stuff from. And we'll put it down here because I like having the parent stuff up at the top. And we're going to move the ray to the position that it is in our original blaster scene, which is just this. Oops. Why doesn't that look right? Because it was probably moved on the z-axis as well, but I just didn't see it. Okay, where are you, blaster? It was. And it's totally different. What did I copy and pasted this from some weird place. Okay, I'm now copying and pasting from the correct place. And we also need the Z. There we go. Name the top node to blaster. And we're going to close our blaster scene. And then we're going to save this one over our blaster scene, thus converting it from just a standalone scene to a child scene of the blaster base. And hopefully I did that all correctly. So now we can make a new inherited scene from blaster base. New inherited scene. And this is going to be, we'll call it Blaster Mega. And I suppose we could even make the laser beam on it bigger, which would be interesting. It won't work right in the sense that a bigger laser, you would expect to hit more things, but yeah, we'll just call it Mega and have the laser be the exact same size. Interesting, though, considering it being a feature, not a bug, having your game engine editor look like your game. Yeah, I mean, generally, I want the editor to be neutral in my game, to have, like, some crazy theme that would be totally unusable in the editor, but yeah, I don't know. We'll find out soon enough whether that was a bug or a feature. Blaster Mega. And I have a very specific idea in my mind for what the shape of this should be, but I don't know if I'll actually be able to pull it off with just like screwing around with mesh instances here. I guess it's sort of like a capsule. Yeah, let's try it as a capsule. So we want to rotate this. That looks 90 degrees, yep. And we want to change the height to something real small. 0.2 maybe. This just ends up looking like a sphere, though. There we go. That's closer. Closer to what I was thinking. We want to bring this up. And we want to position the ray. Let's go here. And here. I mentioned this previously, but I've got this trusty numpad, USB numpad by my left hand, so I can numpad and mouse at the same time. It is very useful. Okay. And let's give it a color. Colors are nice. This will be standard material with just an albedo color. Let's say purple. Let's go purple. Yeah. And I'm getting a sort of metallic feeling from it, so just for fun, we're gonna crank up the metallic maybe to 0.7. It's hard to even see a difference in this context, but yeah, let's maybe turn down the roughness. Oh yeah, there we go. That's looking more metallic. Yeah, I like it. And I'm not sure if that's a good height. I will need to see what it looks like on the hands. But we are going to swap our traditional blasters. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll put both in here and we'll just visible, not visible them to switch between. So this will be like blaster standard. Or no, if they're both there, even if they're invisible, they're both gonna shoot. Okay, we'll delete the blasters and add them back as needed. Blaster Mega. Let's get under here so we can see. Well, that's weird. That's real weird. It should be rotated the same as the hands. Or did I have to rotate them before? Maybe I did. I don't remember doing that. I guess let's rotate them. Did I position those blasters specifically? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Can I undo to the point where I have the original blasters back? I cannot. All right. New plan. We're going to use Git to save us. And then once we have the blasters back, we're going to make like a blaster mount node that we will make the blaster be a child of. Oh, catch you later, The Clean. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for testing out the game as well. Oh, and we can check back in to see if the game has crashed yet. The game has crashed! Woohoo! Let's go see what we got in the logs here. We've got nothing. Yeah. Here, I'll show you in the headset. We're getting the like single frame reprojected thing. And no useful information in the logs. It's just giving us this message we were getting before about trying to grab a global transform when we're not in the tree. Well, that's unfortunate. Really not sure what the error could be. All right, so back to what we were doing a second ago. We were going to use Git to save us. And I need a terminal. CD games, prototypes, VR, inventory. The moment you're happy when things crash because you're a developer. Yeah. Getting things to crash when you want them is sometimes the whole thing that allows you to solve a problem. Okay, what was I doing? I was going to do git diff main tscn. And yep, we will use this to bring back our original blaster using the magic of Git. We reopen the main scene. And we now have the original blaster. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to somehow replace this node with just a plain ass node rather than an imported scene. Not exactly sure how to do that. Let's duplicate it. I hit the wrong meta key. Say blaster mount point. No. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to create just a node 2D here. Or I'm sorry, node 3D. This is going to be blaster mount point. And we are going to copy the transform and rotate, or I guess all the transform. I wish I could copy this as like one thing. That'd be so cool. I gotta copy the individual components here. There. And the Z origin and the rotation. And we're going to do the same thing on this end. Come on. That bug where sometimes pressing Control A like doesn't take is still there. I've experienced that the entire time that I've been using Godot for. I have no idea what it could be. It might be some X11 specific thing. Could even be specific to something on my machine, to be honest. Although, I mean, it's still a valid bug in the sense that someone else could end up in a situation where their machine does the same thing. Negative 90, negative 90. Okay. So now, just to test that we put these in the right spot, I'm going to move the original blaster into the blaster mount point, and I'm going to reset the transform. So then they should appear in the same spot as they did before, but with a cleared out transform. And yes, victory. So now I can delete the blasters and throw the Mega Blaster in there. Does this have like a transform set? It does. Let's clear that all out. There we go. Okay, so our Mega Blasters, which I think is about the right size. That's about the right size that I wanted to test. So that turned out a lucky guess as far as size. And yeah. Ooh, Arvid's talking about some stuff. My favorite errors web developer for a living are 500 server errors because they always come with an exact stack trace. Yeah. Stack traces are also great. I had this problem, I've had this problem with debugging Godot 4 until a couple of days ago, that for some reason, when I would run Godot 4 with GDB, the step over button wouldn't work. I had to place like a breakpoint on every single line and use continue to get onto it. And it wouldn't happen using, all the same tools on my same computer when doing Godot 3. But the other day, I tried out using LLDB, the LLVM debugger, instead of GDB, which is the GCC debugger. And now everything works. And so now I guess I use LLDB. At least when I'm doing Godot 4 stuff. But yeah, like when you can't get a stack trace, when you can't get the line debugger in there, it's no good. Okay, so let's run this just straight native Android. Oh crap. By adding that mount point, our rotation thing doesn't work. You know what though? The rotation thing should probably be on the mount point anyway. Individual items. Ooh, we crashed. Individual items should not have to implement that thing. Oh, okay, it was our rotation code that crashed it, I think. Okay, let's go fix this up. We are inadvertently doing some refactoring on our prototype. I try to do as little prototype refactoring as possible. Because we want to focus not on coding, but on testing, on getting people to play it, and getting feedback, and making the next version of the prototype to get more feedback. Okay, so the Blaster GD code, we need to just take this little piece of it, and that's going to go in this mount point script. And this should be perfect. That should be all we need. And then we need to remove that from our blaster. And let's just make sure there aren't any other uses of get parent. Oh, there's a bunch. This is always assuming that it is put underneath a XR controller. We need to change this a little bit. Let's do Ricardo, there's a PR fixing control A and stuff like that. Oh, cool. I think the problem was the shortcut is activated on release. So you have to release A before control. Interesting. Hey, Gamma Games, welcome to the stream. Nothing is more permanent than a quick fix. Yeah, I mean, as a prototype, though, I intend to throw the whole thing away. If I am going to someday make a game using the mechanics that we're prototyping using this shooting scheme, I'm going to start from scratch. That is a promise that I've made to myself that I hope I will keep. That this prototype will never evolve into a real game. At least code-wise. Like maybe I would take the design ideas and move those forward. So what we want to do is we want to add an exported variable. Or maybe not an exported variable, because we want a reference to to the controller we're attached to. Okay, we can, for the sake of expediency, not do this in a proper way and just call getParent twice. So we're gonna have grandparent, which is parent getParent, and then if grandparent. Okay, no, we'll do this slightly more reusably. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say var ancestor equals getParent, and then while ancestor is not an XR controller. Or is it still called XR controller? Why am I not getting that in the autocomplete? XR controller. Is an XR positional tracker something different? XR controller 3D. Still, it should autocomplete. Okay, while it's not ancestor, then we'll say if ancestor get parent var previous ancestor equals ancestor get parent, and if previous ancestor, no, there's a shorter way to do this. Okay, we'll say if, then we'll say ancestor equals ancestor, and if while ancestor does not equal null and it is not controller. Okay, and then we'll say if, oh man, I've switched between the way I've spelled ancestor as well. Okay, so we'll say var controller, and controller equals controller get parent if controller. Delete this code. Okay, that's reasonable. That's not totally insane. I've only done a little Godot 4 VR dev, but I love all the improvements they added. GD script is nice. Yeah, I'm for the last couple of months I've been using Godot 4 on a daily basis, and it is now really weird for me to go back to Godot 3, but I haven't done a full serious project on Godot 4 yet. Mostly just hacking on Godot itself, or testing pieces, add-ons, libraries, that kind of stuff. I am very excited to finally get to the point where I'm doing a proper project. Okay, so let's look for get parent anywhere. And actually, you know what? We should store this in case we ever want to use it. And we'll say XR controller 3D. Okay. For Linux and Windows, I guess it's Control D, maybe? Just saying. So you're talking about to duplicate. On Mac, I can hit Control D 7 times to mark the same words multiple times. Comes in handy for quick renaming vars. All right. Let's see if this works. Installing to device, reverse result. And I'm not seeing it. That did not work. Oh, and I forgot even to show you guys the screen too. All right, installing to device. Please wait. Here we are. Okay, let me get my hands here. What? Okay, so, well, it's not working. That much is clear. The rotation's not working. Oh, I forgot to put the script on both hands. That I have to do, and shooting is not working. All Are we getting the messages in the editor? Looks like not. Let's see what we have in logcat. Here's what I'll do. I'll grep for Godot. Failed viewport. Interesting. Ooh, okay. Okay. Is this our mysterious error? No viewport was marked with use XR. Interesting. Interesting. I am going to copy and paste this as intel to maybe come back to in the future. I'm going to just put it into a Google Doc off screen here. A little hacking on OpenXR and Godot 4 Google Doc. Okay. So what are we doing next here? I want to add my blaster mount point script to the other blaster mount point. And the shooting is not working, which leads me to believe that my code that I wrote here is not working. So while controller does not equal null, and hang on. So if controller equals null, we'll quit. But if controller does not equal null, this while loop logic is weird. Okay, so I want while controller is not null to loop, and while it's not XR3D to loop, and then if controller. All right, well, let's start with print controller. Let me jump back in here. Ooh, I got my screen not on the chat. Let's just give this a try and see what we get. We should get the output here right away after it installs. And it failed to install, so let's do that again. Oh, the shortcut was for... Oh, you're saying because I use VS Code? Okay, so did we get the thing printed out? We did not. Come on. Is this code just crashing? Here, let me do my press play trick. I keep saying I don't have Vulkan, which is such baloney. I do have Vulkan. File controller. Okay, controller. Get parent file controller. I'll just print something up here. Cool. Arvid's saying his daughter and her friend are showing him a improvised play. That sounds super fun. I love seeing all of the things that my kids create, seeing the creativity that they have and the unusual sometimes ideas that they come up with. It's one of the many joys of being a parent. Okay, so it's printing blah, but it's not printing here, which leads me to believe that we are crashing from here to here. So why are we crashing? Ooh, with puppets and a stage? That sounds awesome. The library, the central library in Milwaukee where we used to live, had like a little puppet area and the kids could put on their own puppet shows, which was always fun. Ah, I miss that library. I miss Milwaukee so much. Oh, and you're getting this viewport thing again. Interesting. Okay, well I need earlier output. Stop. Cease, desist. It never makes it to the controller part. What am I doing wrong here? Controller equals get parent. Oh. Probably because the type hint. Probably because the type hint on controller. So it'd say, okay, so let's say var node, well, node does not equal this, and node does not equal that. Node equals node. Then we say if node, then controller equals node. We'll even specifically say if node does not equal null. I think it's probably the type hint that was getting us. Let's see if this works. Oof. Sounds like a classic plot for a kid's made-up story. All right, this looks like it finally got it. Yep. Okay. So we can test thing number 2. Can you aim when you're not seeing a clear barrel in front of you? Because if I make this into a game, the game I have in mind is you'll be finding like weird parts of robots. Of course, you're going to kill the robots and take their parts, and that is what you're going to be making your guns out of. And I want them to be, a diverse range of weapons. So I want them to be interesting shapes and sizes. I'd like them to be rather large, because tiny little things, like I had those tiny little tank guns before, are not that interesting. How many different variations on a little thing that size could you have in a game? Not that many. The differences would be tiny and hard to see. So, whoop. Did we get our crash? We got our crash. Let's try this again, because I was not done playing. Do setting variables with the wrong type hints not throw a warning? Also, we can't see the screen. Oh, you can't see the screen! Sorry! So yes, doing it with the wrong type hints should give a warning while I'm editing, which I'm definitely not getting. And if it's a fatal error when you mess it up, should also give me an error when running the game. But the Android export is very unreliable on passing the messages from the debugger back. It works sometimes, but like so often it doesn't work for me that I have to do like weird little tricks to try and get at what the error is, like those print statements I was putting in, like using logcat. So yeah, that's just a Godot 4 bug. A very annoying one. Gotta get a better positioning here. Yeah, okay, and let's go back to our sideways shot here. It'll take me a little while to get used to aiming this way again. I don't know, guys. This feels good to me. This feels good. Also, a random thing, like I'm really prone. Oh, and it crashed. I'm really prone to VR sickness, and so I usually can't play smooth motion. But for whatever reason, this particular demo, I can smooth motion all over the place and run around, and it doesn't bother me. And I'm wondering if it's because there's not much in the way of background. Like the background is solid gray, so there's no, I don't see it sliding past me or anything. And it's an open area, like it's just a flat plane with an open top. And I don't know, either that or like suddenly out of nowhere, I've completely kicked my motion sickness, which seems unlikely given that I have in the past gotten really, really uncomfortably sick from smooth motion in games. But yeah, I don't know. No, this is looking good. I think this is the next iteration of the prototype. I'll put a link up later in Discord in the prototyping channel and also on Mastodon for anyone who wants to check it out. I may put it in the YouTube description as well once it's up, if anyone's coming here and watching the stream way after the fact. So let's get everything committed to Git. Let's take a look at our changes here. That all seems good. Oh, I'll get rid of those print statements. These debugging print statements here. Get the diff again. Make sure everything looks good. Yeah, so try out a different blaster shape. All right. Getting some applause from Gamma Games. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I can't bow with a headset on my head. I'll fall down. Yeah. Maybe let's just finish this up a little bit early. Usually go to 11. It's like 2 minutes to 11. I know more frequently we go over than under, but yeah, no. Successful stream, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you're not on the Discord already, come over to the Discord. We can chat. Otherwise, I will see you all next week, or Discord or GitHub or whatever we may run into each other. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.